So what I wanted to talk about in this video is the monotony of life and thinking about how do you actually deal with the monotony in life. So a lot of us academics, professors, teachers, wherever you are, do a really poor job of instilling that sort of concept and talking about that with students, with other people around us. And we do a really poor job because we sort of tell people, we give people extraordinary cases, we talk about extraordinary things, we talk about things that could possibly happen, we talk about sort of exciting things that happen to sort of catch people's eyes. But a lot of life, a lot of what we actually do on a day-to-day basis is very monotonous. So I want to talk about that in terms of dealing with this monotony. So if you don't know me, I'm an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people to help me out that I want to pay the favor forward and help you out as much as I possibly can. So I'm going for a jog with my dog Izzy, and you want to say hi to Izzy? Everybody say hi to Izzy. She's a golden retriever. She's real cute. And I was thinking about this, that a lot of life is very monotonous. In fact, I actually teach about this in the classroom because we fail to do that. Most of us actually fail to teach about the monotonous sort of monotony of the routines that we actually have and the routines that we actually deal with on a regular basis. So routine is some sort of sequence of action that is performed. And some of that stuff is for, we actually do try to improve those routines, and some of it we don't. It's just sort of part of what we actually do. We get up in the morning, we brush our teeth, I go for a jog, get some sort of exercise, go eat breakfast, get the kids ready for school, get them ready for school, go and do some reading, writing, and arithmetic, and then have dinner, and wind down for a little bit, and then go back to bed and do the same thing every day. Doesn't matter what day it is. That's sort of the routine that we go through. And this monotony of life sometimes gets the better of us because it seems like it's the same thing every day. It's Groundhog Day. And it's a really important aspect, I think, for us to deal with this. And I think we do a really poor job of teaching that and how to deal with some of that monotony that we actually do. In fact, we probably encourage it to have more monotony because we try to push people to do more, to do better, and it causes them to work harder. It causes them to spend more time doing the things that are very monotonous, like reading papers, for example, like writing, for example. And I want you to sort of think about ways that you can actually escape this monotony of life that we actually have. And there is a lot of ways that you can deal with the monotony of life because I think it's very real for us. So one way that we can escape the monotony of life is to have a vacation, right? Or have one day off a week or 2 days off a week or whatever your sort of schedule is, where you do something different, where you go and that's why I like weekends. Most of us still kind of do some sort of work on the weekend, quote unquote work on the weekends, but it depends on what that work is or what you're actually doing and the things that you're actually doing. So, working could be cleaning, for example. A lot of us, including myself, sort of push that off, the sort of cleaning routine until the weekend. And then we catch up on cleaning or, groceries and things like that. And that becomes a nice event that we go and do. And we actually have fun doing those kind of things. And before it's 2020 right now, we're in a pandemic. So before pandemic days, I'd go to Costco and we'd go to Costco and it'd be a family affair and it was really fun. But now we kind of limit that contact. So there is, aspects of it that are fun and enjoyable of breaking up the monotony of life by having that sort of break or planning for a vacation or just thinking about a vacation, planning something that is maybe every couple of months or maybe it's once a month where you take an extra day off and you go and do something that's different. Maybe you go on a trip someplace, you go on a car ride someplace, or, some of us will go do bigger vacations I typically don't do those bigger vacations. We just don't have a heck of a lot of time to do those really big vacations where you take a couple of weeks off. But there's lots of things that you can do to sort of break up that monotony of life where it becomes exciting. So your mind is not thinking about the things that you're doing, but the things that you could possibly do. And that expectation for something in the future is a wonderful way to sort of escape the monotony of life. Now, the last thing that I would like to talk about is to think about the patterns of how do you actually work on a regular basis, right? So we might think about doing things that cause us to have monotony or feel like you're bored or, it's not necessarily all that exciting. And a lot of that has to do with what you're working on and how you're working, right? So you can switch up the patterns in which you are working to sort of have a lot more fun. So turn things that are monotonous or you feel are monotonous into games. So data input, for example, you turn that into some sort of game. Or writing, you turn that into some sort of game where you have to write a little bit in an hour or something along those lines. But there's all sorts of things like that you can do where you're switching up and trying different things and experimenting and trying to convert what you're doing into a game where you are actually doing things to enjoy that work that you're actually doing and sort of playing, quote unquote, playing with your work, right? And that's the way that I want you to view working, because it's going to be a lot more fun if you just simply think that what I'm doing is just playing around, just goofing off. And if you feel like that, then that is a good sign. That makes you feel like you're actually enjoying the process. And I know that there's deadlines and things like that, but sometimes that challenge is the thing that sort of drives us to enjoy what we're doing, because we push towards that thing and then we have that deadline. So, but the tricky thing with that sort of pushing and deadline sort of that sort of pattern is make sure that at the end of it you do go revert back to normal. You don't want to keep pushing over time, because that does lead to feeling stressed and burnt out. So you need to take a little bit of break, and that would be a good time to take maybe a day off or something like that to go do something that you would enjoy, like going for a hike or anything like that. So what I'm getting at here, and hopefully you see in this channel, is that there is a lot of regularity to life. There's a lot of structure to life, and it incrementally changes very slowly, day in and day out, until something happens. Now, there's also times where you can have a sort of punctuated change where things rapidly change in your life, and all of a sudden everything kind of goes crazy. But for the most things in life, it's very gradual, it's very incremental, and we have this sort of monotony that we feel, and so we have to deal with that. So that is a huge part of our life, is dealing with it without getting emotional or not feeling overwhelmed with the process. So with that, hopefully I gave you some suggestions on how to deal with this, making sure that you have breaks on a regular basis, turning work into games, changing up how you're working on a regular basis, making sure you have incremental small little breaks throughout the week or throughout your days, going and having a little coffee break. All of those things are really important to break up that monotony, and it makes you feel like you're having fun and it's enjoyable. Oh, one more thing I forgot to talk about is make sure that you do have interaction, social interaction, by interacting with people, having fun, chatting, whatever it is. Those things are really incredibly important to break up all of this stuff that we have to deal with. So with that, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up. I got to go back to my run. I'm feeling like I really just got to get back there. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.